And welcome to episode 73 of the Terrorisk podcast. Current start date is September 25th, I think,
Yes, I believe so.
2023.
Yes, it is a Monday.
I'm with Bo this time.
Hello.
Say what up.
Hello again.
Yeah, so, we're just bullshitting. It's Boachella +2.
Yes. Yes, it is.
That was a fun party. What a fun
It
party.
was a fun time. Absolutely.
Shout out to Dylan Farnham for playing a killer opening set for
Mhm.
everyone. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was when the lights were still working too.
Oh, wait, say what again? Say that again?
The lights. So we had sound activated lights, but they crapped out. I think the rainwater was dripping down the cable, so it ended up frying because of humidity.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, but it was fine. Like it would have been cool, but now I want to just get like a shit ton of those string lights and just like make a like wall for them, so that we actually have visualizations that just follow whatever's playing.
Yeah, like a whole threaded fabric,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Fuck
To
yeah.
see like a whole wall lit up by sound.
Yep. Absolutely. Good shit. Good shit. Yeah, Boachella was great. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting me.
I think it was a funky party because like there was two ways into the basement, into the backyard. So let's say you were looking for someone, so you go out to the back through the top, but then they go downstairs, so you like just miss them, and you don't know if you want to go get them to the other side or follow them.
It worked for me because I was just constantly bouncing around. So like if I forgot something or if somebody needed something, I would be able to go in either direction. That's more efficient.
Yeah.
So that was good for me, but confusing for others. But it's pretty much a loop. You can go one way or the other. You're gonna cross paths eventually. I feel no
Yep.
one's ever gonna constantly go in the same direction. They're gonna go everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, throwing parties is fun. We should do more of it. I definitely want to think more about throwing parties than think about stuff like the election and like and
I
thinking
have
about
not been
stuff
following
like
that shit at all.
cultural politics.
Ugh.
The important stuff that we're supposed to talk about and think about.
I've just been I've just been in a hole this whole time.
Living under a rock.
No, I've just been in the backyard, just working on Boachella, resting, working on.
We gotta
Boachella,
get a
running
venue
around.
for future parties.
Yeah,
We gotta do it
That
from a
was-
paid venue.
I thought about it for a while. Like me and the roomies were really thinking about it for a while, but this was the first time that it actually happened, and they were all very impressed by like how I set everything up, which is great. So, like it seems like the dynamic works out.
Yeah, good turnout.
Yeah.
Easy crowd. I'm glad like some old friends showed up, like Jason,
Yeah.
Puglianesi.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hadn't seen George either in a while.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to set it at least a month in advance so that those guys could have a chance.
Awesome. That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I feel like I would always like announce an event like a month before. Maybe a little bit like more than that. Maybe
Yeah.
like a month and a half.
Well, the ideal situation, what I'd like eventually is just to have something monthly set up.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It was either monthly or every 2 months.
Yeah, if we could do an event every
Every
month,
other month.
then I'd have a steady gig at
Yeah.
least. I'd also, if I'm not playing for a month, maybe other artists would want to take the opportunity to do their stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I spoke to people if they want to organize events or whatever, or like use my space. Like we can figure something out where I just like get 200 at the end of the day.
Yeah. I definitely have to fuck around less and actually make more music now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been doing like pretty okay, all things considered. It's
Yeah.
just now I got to do a little better than okay.
Yeah, and we gotta like try to perform or whatever.
Oh, that would be fun if we could work on a set. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Too
We
many
should
things.
probably go through another like phase of writing new stuff so that we could.
Yeah, I feel like I want to like pick out like more favorites to sing, or like we can do the songs that come naturally to us if we do that. Like
Okay.
if we crank out some more songs, then we have a bigger pool of songs to choose from.
Yeah.
and then we can like kind of like fine tune it. Like we're not just like moving pieces around. We're actually like getting rid of the stuff that like isn't as showcaseable.
And you never know. Like, apparently there's another government lockdown or shutdown looming ahead because
Hell yeah.
of a new variant, a new COVID variant or something.
Yeah, I kind of like.
It seems like such bullshit. It's like, all right, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah,
no one's gonna go for it this time.
I heard about it, but you know what? Like because of that mentality, I feel like it might potentially be our downfall, and I am being more cautious about like washing my hands and stuff, and like just like avoiding like I don't know areas that may not have that well of a ventilation system. Like, but yeah, aside from that, I haven't been taking the full precautions like.
But
before,
that is, you got to admit, a what if compared to like
Yeah.
people actually getting fucked if the society shuts down again.
Yeah, that
You
is
wanna
very
hit?
true. Thank you.
Kill it.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think COVID is COVID. I always come out ahead on COVID, to be honest, because A, it doesn't. I'm like of a different age bracket where it doesn't fucking kill me ever. B, I'm pretty okay being by myself in my enclosed in my apartment for like long periods of time.
Mhm.
And C, I know how to make money during like moments like those. Now that I learned how to do that, like it's now I'm looking forward to it in a sick and twisted way. It's like, oh yeah, you just give me one more shot.
People are more prepared now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
like
they would know what they would actually do. They know what they would do different.
Yeah. The only thing that would really make it scary is if a lot of people start dying again. But that's
Yeah.
when it also gets sus. It's like, really? It just happens just like that again? Like people just start like, randomly dropping because of a
Yeah.
new thing of COVID on the scene.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Hopefully that doesn't happen. It's just like a major freak out where people don't die. Like, it's just kind of like
Either way, I mean,
hopefully it's like a lockdown with like no major freak out and people aren't dying. It's just like a really
the whole point of a lockdown though is because people,
overestimated precaution.
I don't know, the whole point of a lockdown to me is because people are freaking out. And like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if enough people freak out and nothing actually bad happens, then
Well,
but
yeah, if any
it would be to your benefit and many other people because they know what to do this time around.
I mean, what was the big pressure valve for COVID? It was the George Floyd riots.
Yeah.
That was a chance for. I'm not saying that's why people went out and protested, but I'm saying like that did serve as like a pressure release valve for like a lot of pent up stress that people were kind of like building
Yeah.
up in the lockdown. And then once the George Floyd thing happened, suddenly everyone's like they can't even like they can't help themselves even if they wanted to. Like they're like fuck this, like
Oh, totally.
fuck the 5-0, let's destroy shit.
Yeah, everybody was very mad then. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm still mad.
Yeah.
Just double checking. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen again. It might. That's kind of what they're hinting at in the media. Some of the fear mongering, talking like news commentators, they're like Alex Jones. He's like, a buddy of mine, an insider who works at the blah blah blah, said that we're having another lockdown. Be prepared, America, because we're having another lockdown. And I'm just listening to this like, well, hope Alex Jones is wrong, I mean, there have been times when he was wrong, of course, but there's also been times he was eerily correct. Like that whole meme about like the chemicals in the water turning frogs gay.
Yeah.
And the chemicals in the water weren't in fact turning the frogs
Yeah.
gay.
That is true.
That was like really funny.
That is very correct.
I mean, you as a wetlands
Yeah,
specialist.
it's all of the medicines that get dumped. Like everything that goes back into the ground, it gets evaporated back up and like condensated again. So it's just a cycle of like DNA, like chemical altering things that result in like what was more females being born than males or something, or the other way around. I don't remember, but that's what happens pretty much.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it was like I think it was too much estrogen in the water bodies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I hope it doesn't turn me gay. That would be a huge bummer.
Too late, buddy.
I invested a lot in being not gay. So
Are you sure about that, Chris?
yeah, I tried to be gay. It didn't work. Didn't take. Everyone tries.
Yeah.
Especially now that we live in a more tolerant world. Everyone gives it a gives
I
a
was
little.
talking about it too. It's like you always hear about the success stories about like transitioning, but you never hear about like.
Oh, trust me, you do hear about it. You just got to dig a little deeper
yeah.
than the surface, and then you will find plenty of accounts, first and secondhand accounts about like people regret transitioning. Obviously, the secondhand accounts.
No,
you
like not realizing that they want to, like not like just realizing it instead of like going through with it, just like being like, no, this isn't for me.
You mean like having
Like
second
people
thoughts?
don't think about that. Like they don't think about it like in a situation. Like you think about the opposite, like the I guess the other side of it, and you consider that.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Do you think? Actually,
Affinity for a certain mindset is what I meant. My
you know
bad.
what? I just don't see being like I just don't see. First of all, I don't see transness as ever really changing anything in society. Like I don't think a society that's more tolerant of transgenderism is ever going to like be really that affected. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's not.
what I do think though is, you know, like, all right, let's say you're a person without any kind of dysmorphia, body dysmorphia or whatever. You don't really have problems with your gender or the gender you were born as, but you do have problems with like the current gender paradigm, like how women are treated, how men are treated, what's expected of women, what's expected of men. You know, plenty of people on both sides could see like plenty of unfair things to the point where they could say like this whole system has to radically change. This is just not working. Whereas things like, you know, being trans or whatever seem to directly challenge that, but it really doesn't at the end of the day. Because like, let's say you're any gender, you started out as whatever, assigned any gender, and then you want to, you know, transition to the other gender, you're still like reinforcing the other side then. You know, because like the more you try to be the other gender, the more
it's
you're
just like it's not the implied one. Like it's like the unspoken one somehow, and for some weird reason. Well, not weird, but for some reason.
The point being, like, the problem here is like the non-binaries have the better idea, like they have the right idea, but at the same time, like no one's gonna take them seriously.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
I mean, I don't really like. I feel like I take them seriously. I think it makes sense. Like it's not for me, but I think it makes sense to an extent. Like, but.
Can you speak closer to the mic? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Oh, word.
I wanted people to hear this.
Oh yeah, I don't. I think it's fine. Like I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. Like, it's like if that's how you feel, if that's what you believe, then that's cool.
Yeah. I think non-binary people are correct, like theoretically, logically, like 100%.
Yeah.
The only way to like really disrupt the oppressive paradigm on both for both men and women is you got to like actively deny the whole system altogether. It's like, you know, if you want to, you know, you got to just not play the game, so to speak. But you can't do that because like you could sit there and call yourself whatever. But if you're actively doing things in your lifestyle that still ultimately at the end of the day reinforce the shit, because we all do it, no matter how much we consciously try to avoid it, like we all still play the game somehow. So I don't think it's really about outright. I think to me it's treating it like emotions. You know, you got to always see it as there. You got to acknowledge it as something that exists, and that's something that you have to like kind of contend with and like kind of play nice with. At the same time, you can't let it own you. You can't let it control every bit of you. So you just got to look at it as another dynamic of this reality. You know, there's like cause and effect, there's polarity, there's rhythm, and there's gender. You know, gender is, you know, just as much of a universal law, because you look at anything, whether it's living things, whether it's ideas, whether it's objects, there's always a masculine element to it and a feminine element to it. You know, that's what they mean. And like, you got to tap into your divine masculine or divine
That's
feminine.
what I was gonna like. That thing that was playing before was mentioning affinity, but like she gave like a different definition for it. But that's like this feels more like the affinity that I know of. Like, that's the definition of affinity for me. Is like gravitating towards a certain thing. I don't know. Like being presented two options and choosing one is kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, well, this isn't anyone recently. This is like goes way back to like ancient Egyptians. Even I think it was like even before that. But there's these like, there was a thing called the Emerald Tablets, and it was an artifact that was allegedly recovered, and it's like imagine like the 10 Commandments, but instead of like morality, it concerned itself with the nature of reality. Like some ancient scholar or genius figured out like even back then, like the nature of reality.
But if it was just guys just like shit posting on a stone.
It could be. I mean, they call the guy who made it. They say that was Hermes. It's Hermeticism. That's where Hermeticism comes from. The contents of the Emerald Tablet transcribed turned into the Hermetic principles, the 7 laws. I say there's 8, but it's widely accepted amongst like multiple traditions of esotericism and mysticism that there's 7 principles of Hermeticism, and it goes from like the first law that states all is one is all is the mind, and all that shit. Then there's like as above, so below. There's also like the law of rhythm, the law of polarity, and it goes to like the 7th one, which is apparently the law of gender. And everything has gender, everything from the nature down to like the nature of reality. Because what it says up until that law is that like it's never going to stay in one place more than the other. Like you could identify your place on a spectrum, but the truth is you're going to be moving back and forth in different ways.
Yeah.
And it's really like that's where frequency comes into play. It's like, to what frequency are you moving back and forth? So like another example, let's say happy and sad. Throughout any person's given lifespan, they're never going to be just one state. No one's ever going to be statically happy or statically sad. They're always going to be moving between, frequency. And to be low vibrational or low frequency is to really be moving slow. Like take your sweet ass time in your happy state, and then
That's really funny.
And then you stay in your sad state and take your sweet ass time. But then if you're high frequency, you'll back and forth. Like eventually it gets so fast, you might as well be in a superposition.
I kind of felt like I was doing that at Boachella, honestly. Like, because I kept on, it felt like I was just zooming everywhere. Like the night went by so fast.
Okay,
like, I felt like I was just like I was just running circles, and it became a blur.
If we're talking about like different frequencies of energy, now here's another truth about like energy. Like, when it comes to like social interactions and stuff. If frequency is contagious, and I think like higher conscious people who intentionally vibrate like at a higher frequency, that's more infectious to people, because people who are unconscious are generally pushed to be low vibrational, because like if you look at like the status quo and the mindless like paradigm of what we're supposed to do throughout our day to day, we're not really thinking, we're not conscious, we're just like going through the motions of life, and that's enough to keep us alive and keep us distracted through like consumerism and shit. But if you're more conscious, and then you're more aware of when you start feeling like shit, and then you're like, fuck that, I'm not going to become that feeling, and you just let that shitty feeling pass, and you just watch it pass by until the next better thing comes along.
Yeah, I was doing that. I was doing pretty well with that for a while. Like, and then I just kind of like, I don't know, I got fried, I guess. But yeah, like it totally works.
Yeah, those people are more in control of like a room's energy than the people
like
who are.
I know it's there. It's just like gotta get more used to doing that, and like not being as reactionary as I am.
Yeah, and there's also like it's also interesting because it's not all good. Like I think there's evil people out there who also like raise their consciousness and like know how to like really like play people like like puppets. Like I think like even certain celebrities, certain politicians, I think if you have that much power and influence, you're gonna pick up like really like occult knowledge, and like learning how to like use it on the masses.
Yeah, totally.
And you're gonna have like the resources and the money to like actually manifest these crazy machinations.
It requires a lot of social engineering and manipulation to make it up in the ranks like that.
But like I look at like Taylor Swift, and there's all these conspiracy theories suggesting that she's like practicing like occult witchcraft throughout her performances, and she might be. Like I look at some of the shit she's doing, and like some of it does kind of get to me. Like what, she really might be doing this shit. Like
it seems like she fucks like she's kind of like a cat batting at its prey. Like that's how I kind of see her. Like that's how I see her, because it seems like she's just like kind of trolling her fans all the time, but like it's just like coming off as innocent.
Also, like I don't know, some of the performance elements to her like gigs, it's really suggestive of like some pretty interesting stuff. And also there was that whole stupid thing that, like where like audience members experience amnesia for her throughout her performances. They're like, I don't know, it was just
and like there was this whole thing at some point where like people were just like, oh yeah, like Taylor Swift doesn't have a belly button, you never see it during her shows or whatever.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but I remember the headline. I was like, I don't know if this is a fucking hoax or not, but this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, there was the one where Justin Bieber is like secretly a reptilian. Like he was on camera once, like, and then he blinked once and his eye turned into like a lizard eye for a second.
Yeah.
Some weird shit. And I don't know.
Something just popped. Technical difficulties.
Exactly.
Oh man. Oh well. Yeah, I feel like I'm like a fucking whole ass glitch. Like nothing makes sense.
I mean, things could be like way weirder than like we're taught to believe for sure. I mean, for real though, like, what would be the real purpose of having these, I don't know, supposed like non-human entities like planted in the media like that? Like, probably for mind control purposes, I guess. You know, like
Yeah.
distraction at least. Like, they're literally planted to take in all this attention at any given time and to act exactly
You
the
know
way they're
what?
supposed
Part
to.
of me is just like, maybe I guess I gotta find out, but I don't know. Maybe somebody else can do that and like let me know. Like if you guys want to go like get really famous, like I don't know, let me know how it goes.
I think there's levels to it. Different tiers of influence.
Yeah. There's like also subcategories of influence.
And I think for every like reptilian cloned like industry plant, you'd have like a handful of real artists that actually made it on their own merit, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to actors, because acting is where like that's where the real mind control happens. Like, you know, theater, modern theater, and that whole shit. Like, honestly, I think that's where like I started getting spooked the most. Once like the Hollywood conspiracy comes out, like where it's like a lot of it is sex trafficking, but then that like also ties in with like the UFO reptilian human trafficking. It suddenly gets elevated to not just like, you know, like sex trafficked slaves to like the elite, but also like the nature of what the elite are. Like, they're not just human. They could be like literally like reptilian, like archons or archonic beings spiced with alien. Who knows? Who knows what they could be? Because they're the 1% of the 1%, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like there's that whole conspiracy with like intergalactic slave trade and all that shit. It's like all this weird, crazy, fucking nutsy, scary shit.
Bad boy lives.
Yeah. I mean, some of these things even go so far as to suggest like we've had the technology to travel to like another galaxy even, and within those galaxies you will find planets that are a lot like Earth, that have people like you look just like us. They speak English.
We're just in a Star Trek episode.
They drive conventional
just in a
vehicles.
Star Trek episode,
And
guys.
apparently some of these worlds exist just so they could harvest human
Yeah.
beings.
Absolutely. I totally fucking believe it.
And another idea is that like humans are so valuable to these intergalactic slave traders because humans are good at manifesting.
Oh yeah. This Asian lady handed me this pamphlet with a flyer with a Bible verse on it today.
Yeah, what did it say?
Let me whip it out if I can find it.
Wow.
Here it is.
What does it say? Open it up. You know I can't read. Wow, that thing's TLDR as fuck. Yeah, this is too long.
I will make thee a great nation. And no, all of them are just like really weird.
I'll just read the
verses.
first line. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved and thy house. All right, so my take on Christianity, I think Christianity is supposed to be a vibe. That's all it is. It's literally just a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a good vibe. If you treat it right, it's a good vibe.
I feel like I don't appreciate the way that the Bible is written. But I also like didn't read different versions of it. I feel like maybe I didn't get the right edition. Maybe it wasn't like it's kind of like
You should read a version of the Old Testament called the Torah.
yeah, I should.
I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm not. Oh, sorry, boy. Oh, that was bad timing.
Aw.
He just wanted to jump on my little lappy lap. You want to jump? You want to come up? No. Sorry, buddy.
Aw.
Nah, maybe he'll change his mind. But yeah, I think Christianity is just supposed to be a vibe. It's a state of consciousness, you know.
Yeah.
If you reach Christ consciousness, how would that be? That would be like you don't want to kill anybody, you don't want to take anyone's shit, you don't covet anything that anyone else has, you don't feel like hurting them.
Yeah. I feel like yeah, it is a vibe, but it's just not something that I really vibe with. Like I feel like I'm like just constantly searching for something. Like
Well, here's
I'm
the thing.
constantly going through a crowd and
Okay,
like
well,
looking for that thing.
I'm not done yet. The Christ consciousness is that pure vibe of like goodness, but with a bunch of bullshit added onto it. That's where it starts like getting weak, because you're like, what the fuck? Why? You know, like why?
Yeah.
Like why can't gay people get married? I don't know. Like, you know, stuff like that. Like that's where the Bible starts like kind of getting a little weird. Or it's like, I don't know. There's a bunch of other stupid shit. But That being said, if you look at like that vibe of goodness, you find that in every other religion. It's just that every other religion adds a bunch of bullshit onto it as well, you know?
Yeah, it's all the same. It's just reskinned. Everything's all reskinned.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think the key is finding that like that main vibe, identifying it, knowing the exact nature of it, and like understanding when and where you see it. You know, like if you know they call it Christ consciousness, they call it enlightenment, they call it Kundalini awakening or whatever, an awakened being, spiritually ascended, adept. But anyway, like yeah, that itself is the vibe. It's the Christ consciousness. It's the same thing, like the God consciousness. And people get there in a bunch of ways. Like they'll take acid and they'll just be like, everything's gonna be okay. I don't know how. I can't explain it, but I know everything's gonna be okay.
That's when I like started like, I guess having a more like introspective mindset. Like I feel like something snapped. Like that's where I like derive that term like jigglish from. Like I just kind of like, it felt like I was in kind of like a crowded vortex of nodes, just like going through from section to section and seeing if I like vibed with everybody or everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's a good way to look at it.
It happens differently for everybody.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna happen more and more to people.
Yeah. Because it's really like, it's like, I don't know what else is there. Like, there's so much.
Well, I mean, the idea is like nothing else is working out. We've gotten to a kind of a pivotal breaking point.
Yeah.
With modern civilization.
Yeah, we just know how it goes.
I don't know. I also think it's like, it also comes with like unlearning a lot of things that people have been holding on to for like a really, really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a really hard part. First, it's like, you know, it's hard enough to undo like bad physical habits, you know, things that like we do to ourselves, you know, just out of pure habit.
Yeah. That
affect our health and that make us like feel shitty. And then there's also like unlearning ideas that really don't serve you, and that's another hard part.
Yeah, it's been really hard. There's like so many things that I haven't realized about myself that like I just can't I can't really keep up. So it's like, it's overwhelming at times, but it has to happen.
Yeah. For sure. But once you, I don't know. I think it's really. Jason was telling me this yesterday. Or 2 days ago. He was like, I think he works with a lot of people who are in counseling.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like what happened with the term self-care, and all like the new weird implications to it that just really give you an excuse to like.
Yeah.
Be further.
Like at some point, it kind of like crosses the line into like spoiling yourself.
Self-indulgence.
Yeah. Self-indulgence.
Yeah. So I said, well, a better term than self-care would be self-alignment. Mm-hmm. Which makes more sense.
I feel like it's more self-realignment. Yeah,
for sure. But self-alignment is like you have to align yourself either way. Like, and it's I say break it down to the three things. You know, mind, body, and spirit. You know, do something that enriches your body. Do things that you know keep your mind clear, and look after your spirit. You know, do things that spiritually uplift you. Practice gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude really is the simplest hack. You know, it's like that because that's an easy one. Whereas like the other things like, oh, be selfless or pretend you know adopt abundance mentality, like that's easier said than done. But a good first step, an easy first step, and a good way to start that builds up really quickly is gratitude. Yeah. Like if you could just find even the smallest, tiniest little thing in your piece of shit existence to just say, I'm thankful for this. Mm-hmm. Things rapidly start turning from like inky black to like bright and like, you know, radiant. You know, like it's weird how fast it happens. Yeah. And it's weird how like how quickly we're like.
Like over time you expedite the process because you know it's gonna keep on going and you fucking hate that feeling. So like you're gonna try to get out of it. Like you're gonna try to stop it before it gets too bad.
Yeah.
So,
But I also it's just interesting how like simple and powerful gratitude really is.
yeah.
And it's not even like, it doesn't even sound wishy-washy. It doesn't sound like, whatever. It doesn't sound altruistic or anything. It's simple. It's a simple concept. It's
Yeah.
just say thank you. Just literally say thank you. And I think when people start doing that, like crazy things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And some people will even get a little manic from the experience. They'll be like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I don't remember the last time I said thank you for anything.
That's interesting. I feel like I always said thank you a lot. So I don't really think about it that much. But I like now that I'm thinking about it, I say that a lot and sorry a lot more than that. But yeah, I've been trying to replace apologizing with just being grateful
Well,
for
the trick is not to
like
ju-
help or like whatever.
The trick is not to just say thank you when you feel good. It's to learn how to say
Yeah.
thank you even when you feel bad.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part, and that's the harder part. Anyone could say thank you when things are going great and you just got something awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
But when life hands you a shit sandwich, can you figure out a way to still say thank you? Like,
Mhm.
that's the hard part.
Yeah.
But that's when it helps the most. That's when the best and most magical things happen.
Yeah.
Because you're not just like rebelling against the current. What you're really doing is you're reprogramming your entire perception of reality and your existence from
And
something.
it's just super annoying because it takes people different like some people some people like they don't get the hang of it. Like for me, I've been trying to fucking deal with this shit for so long. Like it's like I always know that that's what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just so forgetful now that like it's just a constant uphill battle.
Well, I guess a good way to remember it is just to remember who you are, why you're on this earth, like what your purpose is, to the purpose of your existence. And I think, for me anyway, this is just my opinion. You could steal it if you want. I don't mind. But I think that we're all on this earth to just explore every incarnation of humanity as a soul being. We're supposed to go into many different lifetimes and to experience life in many different contexts and variations until finally we've experienced what we're supposed to. We've learned the things we're supposed to. And then once we break out of it, we go to the next whatever. Who knows what happens after that. But I think specifically this whole 3D reality that we're all subjected to, I think the whole point is to come here and experience shit and to not get caught up and make yourself a slave to negative loops and stuff.
It actually reminds me of when I K-holed one time. Yeah, I think I kind of vaguely experienced that. That's one of those times, and then another time I took too much acid, and that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were both about the same. It was a lot of flashbacks of things that happened in different dimensions.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of after that I was just oh shit, well I guess this is one of those things
that's what deja vu could be.
Yeah, or I don't know, I feel like whenever I enter a different space or a different room, I might be able to be in a different time period, outside it could be I don't know, in a different you don't know what's going on outside,
Yeah. You can't really speak for everything
Yeah.
outside of your perception of reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have real bad was object permanence. I always had an object permanence issue ever since I was younger, and I would look at the landscape from the back seat of the car while my dad was driving, and everything would just I would just be oh yeah, everything is just paper backdrops. That's how I just pictured everything. There was nothing beyond there.
Yeah.
Or I was just what if I walk all the way over there? It's just fucking paper. Some Truman Show shit or whatever. But, yeah, I always felt I had a weird object permanence thing. Actually, almost I was really shy when I got back home from being with my mom in Hong Kong for 2 months. I was not able to interact with my dad for a week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I was always more fascinated with the shit that was going on in my own inner world, when I was a kid. I didn't really get caught up with my immediate surroundings. I mean, there was plenty of things that happened around me that I was like super interested in, but like when I was a kid, I had a lot of time alone, and so I had mostly just time to think. And the things I thought about were just usually like, I don't know, I guess the nature of things, like words. I think I thought about words a lot as a kid because I grew up with two different languages being spoken at me at the same time. So I would, you know, I always thought about the nature of like words and things and pronunciations and people's like inflections of words and ideas and feelings. And as a kid, this is just all that would, because like, again, like you leave a kid alone, like a little kid alone with no siblings, no external influences. It's both good and bad. It's bad because, you know, like they need social stimulus to develop correctly, but it's also good because, again, like the kid has more time and freedom and flexibility to be able to come up with their own concepts and to learn how to think outside of conventional, you know, like enforced paradigms and shit. So for me as a kid, I don't know, I got to look at like people from a broken off kind of sense. It's like, you know, it's not a matter of like feeling feelings. It's just a matter of like being able to like see it. You know, it's like, okay, I see that you're mad. And I don't know, it's just helped me save my neck a bunch of times, you know, when it comes to dealing with authority figures after getting in trouble. Like, I knew when to play possum. I knew when to just, you know, back off and shit. Sometimes you also got to know when to like kind of like push people a bit, which is also another thing about people. That was more of a recent development of insight where, you know, like once you're put in positions where you have to like make sure things get done, then yeah, you got to learn how to deal with people, as they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now it's all like pretty simple, you know, especially when you just like, you know, I try not to like put myself in a position where I really need anything from anyone. And I'm like, yo, listen, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's all good in the hood.
For fucking sure.
I mean, I could go deeper and like say like, yeah, I could, in a sense, like I view everyone as just like different versions of me, just played out in different like lifespans, different bodies, like just the same, you know, droplets from the same ocean, ultimately placed in different bodies.
You're like a Rat-a-Tat music video. Have you seen a Rat-a-Tat music video before?
No.
It's just a bunch of parrots that are just like all shifting and swaying like a laggy cursor across the screen and shit.
Yeah, but I think
that's you.
I think it's good to look at like, you know, people like that because you realize that ultimately everyone's like the same. You know, yeah, we're all different throughout our physical incarnations. You know, we all had different experiences when we were born, but before we're born and after we die, we're all like the same kind of nature, beings of light. You know, souls. Yeah. And we all go back to the same place, like no heaven, no hell, really, just back to the same source. And I think if you know that, and if you view people that way, first of all, you don't really need anything from them because you realize that we're all just the same spiritual beings, just going through different our own human incarnations. B, it's like also you don't want to hurt them because like that's to you ultimately that's like. If I hurt them, I'm just like ultimately hurting myself. I'm just hurting another being that's just like me. That's going back to the same place. And so it's like, it's a good place to be, you know, it's like, and it can be like, I guess, isolating because if you put yourself in that position, you seem like unreachable to people. And I could see that, but like, I think it pays off because like, you know, some people have to be like that. Some people exist in this world. They have to like maintain that kind of a distance, I think, because I mean, it can't all just be like senseless attachment based on like carnal desire. Like, I don't think humanity can sustain like that. I think we have to at least have the ability to elevate before we think about stuff like that.
Yeah, I also agree.
And right now, like, you know, the way I view humanity, I'm like, I think everyone collectively has like a lot of work to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of things to work on, like, for myself. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if I keep doing that, then I'm just going to attract the right people, and that's fine. That's what I wanted to do anyway.
Well, the idea is your life is what you make it. And if you make it so, like, you end up in a situation where you're in a marriage and you have kids, then that's going to take up a huge amount of your energy and will. Because that's the only way you're going to sustain family life is if you sacrifice chunks and chunks and chunks of your own life force.
You know, like literally at this point in my life, I'm just kind of like, I want more me time, pretty much.
Yeah, because like you know, I think people jump into those situations without building up their life energy deposit. You know, like they'll go into it with like puny reservoirs, you know, because that's what all young people are.
Yeah, I
Young
mean,
people
like, I
are.
feel like my ambition is there, but like, I have a lot of things I need to address before I even get there. Like, I know what it is. It's just that it's not accessible right now. Like,
To be honest, it's like, you know, it's like you need experience points to level up, and the only way to get like the huge amounts of experience points is if, yeah, you could get like little bits of experience points here and there from killing ads and shit, of course, but you only get the real jackpot after completing the quests, right?
Yeah.
Completing the right quest lines, getting to the dungeon boss, and then getting
yeah,
the
it's
loot.
all the achievements, and then you get a prize.
Yeah. So we get distracted by like, you know, like shit quests, not even side quests, just shit quests. We get
Yeah.
distracted by the wrong thing. But then, because the real the real quests are the ones like the semi-lofty goals we set for ourselves that just seem unattainable, but also are just attainable enough to like make you wonder, like, can I do this? Those are the real goals that you gotta focus
Yeah.
on.
I mean, yeah, I guess I tried.
Because if
Like,
it's a sure thing, that's no fun. It's not going to be enriching at all. You're barely going to gain any experience. That's
Yeah.
like repeating a beaten level. Nah, the only ones that'll get you the real shit is if you got to go for the ones. It's like it's like, I don't know. I never did that before. Can I do that? Can I really achieve this?
Yeah, well, I can't. Yeah, I gotta hang out. I gotta hang out with my friends.
Yeah. Or I don't know. You just gotta like just see, like, the funny thing about experience points and quests, right? They're not just given to you. You gotta go out and like find them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll know it. It's like pornography. Like, you can't quite describe it exactly, but you'll know it when you see it. Like, yeah, I forgot who said that, but it's a good way to put it, in my opinion. And yeah, that's my take on like collective human evolution and like the next step
Cool.
in our societal.
Yeah.
Ascension.
Anyway, let's collab. Let's collab, guys.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's the only way.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I'm leaning more and more towards the idea of traveling. I feel like I got to get out there in the world.
Yeah, I need to get my license.
Oh,
I've
that should be
been
fun, Bo behind the wheel. Are you gonna get a booster seat for the
terrified.
driver's
No, I
seat?
have to. I want to make it like I don't know, like a fucking Dora the Explorer booster seat.
Get
for my
some
car.
phone books, like, and sit on the phone books.
Dude, phone books. Where do you get phone books these days?
I don't know. Order them off the internet. I'm
Oh,
sure.
no, I gotta get some vintage phone books.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I could probably no. I'm just gonna use a stack of magazines from my parents' basement. My mom has like a gigantic stack of like Vogue magazines,
Yeah.
like Harper's Bazaar, like all fashion stuff.
Yeah.
Like gardening books, actually. Maybe I will put useful books in the car, like books that I actually like that would come in handy, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be driving on a pile of books.
You got to get a super big car too, like in Costco when you were a little person with a big Costco shopping cart.
Oh, I fucking love, dude. I love maneuvering the Costco cart. It's like, actually, it's really funny, because like I got really good at it because my parents let me do it, like
Yeah.
when I was younger. So like I was just like I'm really really good at like just like maneuvering the cart like through really weird situations.
I mean, yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't think about shopping too much, but maybe that's because I fucking do it. So I literally go grocery shopping every week. I have my like little routes planned out. Every Friday is usually my grocery shopping days because I get off work early, enough to like kind of sort of beat rush hour. And you know, I get all my groceries for food for the week that I'm gonna cook, and yeah, I just go ham. I go to ShopRite.
Word. Yeah, usually for me, I'm still going through my Costco supply. Like, I just buy everything that's on sale at Costco and like do a run like every 2 months, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I just kind of, and I had Instacart for it because I was working at Amazon. So I just order everything for delivery. So I just order all the sale items and then I just try to make food out of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just me saving money.
You know, it'd be funny. I was just random thought, but like, imagine if you threw parties at the apartment that made enough money where all of you could afford to like get your own places, but still like rent out that apartment to use as a party space.
That would be insane.
That would be so sick.
That would be really sick, actually.
Like the whole apartment could just be dedicated to like party.
No, I want that whole building. Like,
Yeah. With the balcony.
We were thinking about it, but I don't know how that works. We don't have enough support.
You'd
So,
have to. First of all, you need some kind of asset to leverage for a bigger loan so that you could approach whoever owns that building and be like, yo, we'll buy this much upfront cash right now.
Yeah.
And if they say yes, which, you know, if they were smart and you gave up enough cash up front, I would say yes. And then the building would be your problem, so to
How much
speak.
would that even be?
Here's the deal. I think what it would be is you couldn't. First of all, I'm pretty sure that thing's like up for mortgage, possibly foreclosed by the bank. But the bank doesn't fuck with the guy who owns the deed of the property because they, you know, they do something with it at least. Because if it was just condemned and like no one kept it up, like did the upkeep, then the bank would ultimately lose out on it. That's why they don't care if they're like technically illegally rented out. Because the bank knows if they ever really wanted to, they could just go back and collect it whenever they want.
Yeah.
So, the best you could do is like get together like $60K, go to the, the Jewish real estate guy, I don't mean to be stereotypical, but chances are in those kinds of apartments, that's who you're going to be dealing with, and they're probably going to be a nice guy, and probably generally a straight shooter. It's not like there's much money to be like scraped from that whole situation, and then you just offer him cash up front, like 60 grand, maybe more, maybe 100 grand. I don't know who knows how much this guy would charge you, but you buy it out, and then you have the deed, and the bank, maybe they would be notified. I don't even know if they would even bother telling the bank, but you get the deed, and now you have to know if the bank, whenever the bank wanted, they could collect the whole place. Mm-hmm. So your whole incentive by then, it should be to make your money back on whatever you're doing in there, whether you rent the space out to a bunch of kids such as yourself, or throw parties or do whatever. But yeah, that's
I would do more than parties there. I do other random events, do art things there. I want to do art gallery thing, an art show or something like that at my space.
Yeah.
Or some sort of art event, something like that. Where I can hang out with artist friends and stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
damn, I always feel different doing a podcast episode. Instead of drinking alcohol, I just drink coffee. It always puts me in a specific mood.
No, I'm just way too high right now, and also I'm like drinking a 40. So yeah, and I've just been very tired because I crashed from Boachella, because Boachella was really great, and that was very, very dopamine rush for me, and it satiated my ADHD brain, but I think too much. But it's gonna be easier next time. It was literally my first time doing a party that big.
Oddly enough, I think it turned out exactly the way I expected it to.
Oh yeah?
Yep. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, but it just kind of sort of did. I couldn't tell you that before the party, but like I just always had a feeling it would turn out exactly like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually, I really enjoyed all the vibes there. Every time I went into a different room, it was just something chill as hell.
Yeah.
Like something awesome was going on. So if you didn't vibe with a room anymore, you just took a little walk around and just made a loop.
Yeah.
Just constantly going on the JFK air train or something, you know?
Yeah, it was kind of like a train.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of like that dynamic, because you can just circle back, you can circle forward, you can stop.
Yeah, the best venues have the best traffic flow.
Yeah.
And a closed circuit is always best.
Mhm.
It gives you the illusion of like a lot of space.
Yeah, and it solves a problem of the questionable stairs. So yeah, if you were like brave enough, you would go down the concrete steps, but ideally you'd go up through Sam's room and then go down and then come back up the concrete steps, because those are tricky going down.
I think like that is somewhat like, you could consider that as somewhat of a lost art form, especially like in terms
it's social engineering. It's urban planning, pretty much. Like,
yeah, like during the Renaissance, they did like a lot of good shit with that, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of like people don't really consider like traffic flow, and like I guess like it's like like pretty much like human physics, really, like human dynamics.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like teaching is also a form of that too. It's like you're social engineering like small humans to grow up into different, you're influencing them.
Interesting you say that. If you want to look at this whole thing, like the dynamics of like party traffic and a party flow, in terms of social dynamics. And if you want to look at the most basic level from like the human body, I once got into this, like briefly got into this thing by Carlos Castaneda. And he has one, you know, he was like this weird guru type guy with like a Mayan ancestry or some shit.
Yeah.
Or Incan, I think. I don't know, some crazy shit. But he came to this like weird concept, or he was pushing this like weird meditative dance routine thing, or a choreographed movement, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like ancient yoga. And he came up with this concept of tensegrity. You know, it's like different from integrity. Like people's bodies aren't held up by integrity, by like stiff, you know, solid foundations.
Yeah.
It's more like just like tensegrity. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a weird network of like different pulley systems and like
Yeah.
elastic bands. Like, you know, you ever
It's
see?
like, it's like a shoulder pad, it's like a wire that controls pretty much like the wires of the nerves, pretty much like.
You ever see like a little tower held up by like a network of strings and wooden rods?
Yeah.
And it's like it's literally like a tower of
like
tension.
a puppet kind of.
Yeah, like a tower of tension. But
no,
it's
it's like the joints when you set up the tent poles.
yeah, kind of like that, but
Yeah.
it's way more complex and
Yes.
intricate. So that's kind of more what the human
Like
body
the,
is.
the wooden toys that are like the beads with the
Yeah.
people, and you like push the bottom.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the
Yeah,
visual
yeah.
is like that,
Exactly.
but it's
And
energy
then,
around
yeah,
it.
Yeah, and then you add the tension, and then it stands
Yeah.
itself up. So that's a lot like that. And like our bodies is just a constantly moving structure of tensegrity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you look at it, if you view the human body like that, that ultimately should reflect the party space. Don't look at your party space as like one like static integral structure. Look at it as a flow of like tensegrity. You
Yeah.
know, where like different tension has to happen in certain areas before the flow gets poured out and pushed out to this, you know,
Yeah.
to this vessel. And then eventually like potential energy is going to build up
That
there.
reminds me, I used to always make sand civilizations when I went to the beach with my friends. Like everybody would just be like laying down, like getting tan or taking a nap or some shit, and I would just be like out like where the water is, and I would just like start digging out. Like I would just dig irrigation systems out.
Yeah.
And then they would get so massive that the kids would start helping me. So then they would start having like these weird like sand civilization wars where like everything just like broke up into sections.
Yeah.
And like I would bring like little tiny dinosaurs, and like we'd see which ones like wash away like the easiest.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of that. Like it's such an intricate structure, and you don't know, like it's very unexpected how things may go.
Yeah. And so you got to look at it everything, not like the key to like making anything work like that, any dynamic social communal collaborative effort like that, is to view it as like a structure of tensegrity, is like a constantly rhythmic and dynamic flow of tension and release in different parts of the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
It's the give
and take, the push and pull. Yeah. So, cause and effect. And that's really how that's like a meta way to look at not just like, you know, a party, but anything in life, your business, your art, you know, your social network, everything.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of outlook that comes with like raising your consciousness, because the only thing that prevents you from seeing everything this way is your own emotions, is your own feelings. It's your own like, you know, like lower vibrational state.
Allocation of attention.
Yeah, exactly. If it's going to be stuck focused
Like
on like
attention and attention.
Yeah, intention.
Attention, intention, attention.
Yep. So a lot of it is really attention, and that's part of an ancient, I think, Buddhist proverb or whatever, or story. Like some disciple asked the guru, it's like, what's the secret to enlightenment? And the guru just goes, attention, attention, attention. And he's like, what? I don't know what the fuck that means. Can you like be more specific? And the guru just goes, attention, attention, attention. So, you know, he's left to ponder and ponder and ponder on it. He gets so frustrated, but I think he eventually realizes what it was about. It's like, yeah, where you place your attention is going to ultimately dictate your reality.
Yeah.
And so if you look inward towards behind your attention, it's like, well, what directs my attention? And there you go. Boom. You just get to another level. Like,
wordplay.
I think cats are sensitive to where your attention goes. I think they could see your attention like a translucent beam or something. Cats know when you're paying attention to them or not.
Mochi knows.
Yeah. He's my little guy. I've definitely imprinted on the little guy's psyche.
Such a fucking cat.
Yeah. There's apparently like, there's the round-eyed cats and then there's the sharp-eyed cats in terms of personalities.
Yeah.
He's definitely a round-eye type.
Yeah, I like the round eye cats.
He's just a big softie.
I mean, I like sharp eye cats too, but they like have they have a zingier personality.
Yeah.
Like they're a lot more like they redirect their attention more snappily. I feel.
Round-eyed cats are more human-like.
Yeah.
They have more personality, I think. Less instinct. Wow, imagine if they made like MBTI for cats.
I bet you that already exists.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, MBTI is interesting. I look at it kind of like D&D roles or D&D jobs.
Mhm.
And like, so you have your loadout, your initial loadout, but ultimately like everyone, you're supposed to build up your specific loadout to get so OP. You get to a level where it doesn't matter individual loadouts at that point. Then you're at like a whole nother level where it's like, yeah, we all started with different loadouts, but we all managed to get to an OP level. Like we're at the end game now.
Yeah.
And once you're at the end game, then you start going for like crazy legendary, like the next stuff, the next level. End game loot.
A variation of allocation.
Yeah. And you could even choose as like, you know what? Let me just redo a whole new build. Like that's after you die, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the game of life is just too fun. I think like we go.
It's all Minecraft, my guy.
Yeah, I think we go through a lot of shit. But as like souled beings, if we were to die and go back to like the soul station, they'd be like, "Do you want to give it another go?" And you're like, "Fuck yeah, I do."
The world can be your sandbox, and the world can be your litter box.
Yeah. I'd just always be like, I could see myself playing this game a lot. Maybe you get to play it as a house cat.
You like to play God? Would you like to play God? Would you? Yeah, you would. Actually, aren't they doing what was it? The geese, the annoying goose thing, the goose game, but with a cat. Oh no, they're doing the dog game. What was that dog game called?
I don't know.
They had a stray. Oh, Stray.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing a dog version.
Oh yeah, they're doing a dog version.
Are they?
I think they are.
That would be interesting. I like the kitty cat game. It was cute. It was silly. It was a silly little game for a silly little guy. God, he's literally obsessed with me. It's fucking cat. He needs his lap time every single day.
Yeah, if I could get a place of my own, I'd get another cat. No, I would move. I would bring Toby back.
Yeah.
Toby's at my parents' right now.
Your old cat.
Yeah.
I like raising them as kittens.
Yeah, I want to. I wish I gave Toby more time and attention when I was younger. I was always running around. Like that was actually the last time that I was in the rave scene.
I think when you raise them as kittens, you really get to like mold them.
Yeah, I wish I could. Like they're just always they always look so clueless around me, and I like feel really bad because they just like wasn't there for a lot of the time.
Yeah. Also, the ones you raise as kittens are fun because they're generally less traumatized, so they become more like outgoing.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's hard out there for a cat.
Yeah. But the thing I always wanted the most was actually no. I wanted to get a parrotlet.
A what?
A parrotlet. It's just like a lovebird, like a pair of lovebirds, or like a sun conure or something.
Yeah, I don't feel too strongly about already. Like as it is, I think we're already on shaky territory with pets. I think cats are okay because we generally have a really symbiotic relationship with cats. Dogs, we have no choice. That's like literally our responsibility. It's our fault dogs even exist in the first place. But other animals, I'm not so sure. Like if they're also used for hunting, that's pretty cool. Like I use my. I
wanted to get into falconry too, but it's really hard to find a place that actually teaches how to do falconry in New York City. Like I actually did this. I actually did my research on this, and like everything is upstate. Like I would have to move. I would have to move out of the city for this shit. Like, and I just like I that is unattainable, but I know that it's there. But yeah, that's why I settled on a parrotlet because they're cute, they're tiny, but they're also parrots. And yeah, I just like wanted to always have like a parrot, but my parents kind of like gave me birds as presents for like things that I did in school, and like under the guise that I would have a pet, but they wouldn't let me take care of it. So I just never had a bird of my own.
What if I got you like a little keychain, a little water keychain with a little baby turtle in it?
No, I have a crab one already.
No, like a live baby turtle.
No, no, not this again. Oh my God, no, Chris.
Why?
No.
It would be so cute. You'd have a little baby turtle keychain.
No, I already told you. I'm gonna break all of them. I'm gonna break them out, and I'm gonna like try to sell them if I can't take care of them. That's fucking like, and then there's that one story where a few people may know remember this cactus, but I used to have a little cactus on a keychain that I bought like for $1 on eBay or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it was alive when I brought it like when I opened it up, and I like put it on my keychain, like on my bag, and because like I kept on going outside with it. It was fine, but then one day I was just like, you know what, I'm retiring this bag. I fucking left it like in the dark for like 3 days, and it fucking died.
Oh.
And I was just like, damn, I can't, like I cannot go through that again.
But with a baby turtle?
Yeah, no, I don't want to do it.
It's like you just take your keys out of your bag one day and you're like, oh, guess the little guy finally kicked it.
God, no, never. But they look. I like the one to the triops or like the sea monkeys or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But like it's like they have so little stimulation that they don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I feel like a turtle is not supposed to be that fucking tiny. Like, these guys were supposed to like live in tiny puddles. Like, I feel like it's different. It's like it's like, you know how goldfish grow like real big if you give them the space?
Yeah.
Sea monkeys don't do that.
You could really fuck up any given like freshwater lake if you just bring a bunch of goldfish and dump them.
Yeah.
Like you destroy the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, yeah. It's what is that called? Eco-terrorism.
It's just giant goldfish.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's why they say don't dump your pets like into the water. Don't release into the ponds and stuff like that. Like you're also introducing predators like non-native predators into the ecosystem, and that throws everything off. Like it could cause a very big issue.
Or create like cat colonies.
Yeah. Totally. And that's why it's like if you find a stray, like you're supposed to get them fixed or whatever and like return them to the wild or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's also why, like, I don't know, like I feel like house cats should just stay house. They shouldn't be indoor outdoor.
They shouldn't be outdoor cats?
I mean, there should be outdoor cats, but they can't be both, I feel like.
I bet they're happiest when they're both though.
It's possible. Have you let Mochi out?
No, I can't.
You should get Mochi a cat leash.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Take him for walks?
Mm-hmm.
I should. Also, I really want to get a second cat, but I gotta get a bigger place. Get him a little friend.
Yeah. I feel like this is a pretty big space because you don't have that much furniture.
Yeah, but I still have to get a second cat box.
Yeah. You can also get a self-cleaning one or an automatic one.
Yeah. The cat robot.
I feel like it's worth the investment.
Probably. Such a cute little guy. It's the way he acts.
Yeah.
He's a little dumpling.
Yeah, I wish I hung out with my cats more. I feel like I could have learned a lot from them. I always felt like I wanted to have like that cat vibe, but I just never did. It's like I'm starting late, you know.
I just like raising an animal.
Uh-huh.
It's a neat experience.
I feel like I wish I was able to do that when I was younger. My parents just didn't trust me. I guess I tried to prove it to them like through other means because like putting another creature's life at risk isn't worth my, I guess, like attempts to be proud of myself. I don't know.
Yeah. I know this cat definitely kills a lot of shit though for me. That's cool too.
Yeah. I feel like I would want that. Like I have a lot of things.
He decimates cockroaches.
Oh, word. That's
Yeah.
cool.
the few times I did ever like see a random stray rogue cockroach, like it just destroyed by the time I get to it. Every time he just destroys it. He's like, he's got this lavish, cushy lifestyle, and every once in a while he gets to kill something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think we're about at it. We've got enough time covered.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening, folks.
I tried. Thanks for listening.
Good night.